Hi, this is Brett from Everlog, and this is a video demonstration of our new driver development tools. I've got a datalog loaded from a Trackday at Blyton Park, and I'm going to show how we lay out track positions and view lap times, and how we can directly compare different datalogs of the same track to see where we can improve our lap times. So in our new driver development tool, you can see down here the GPS layout of the track at Blyton Park, and I'm going to go ahead and set out the lap start point and some sectors. The red dot represents the vehicle, and that is based on the center line in the datalog. I can move the datalog and move the vehicle. So I'd like the start position of the lap to be here on the home straight, and by clicking the Marks Lap Start Location tool I can achieve that, and I'm going to do it in circuit mode, which means that the start and stop position for each lap are the same place. We also support point-to-point type mode, which is labelled sprint. I'll go ahead and click OK there, and you can see I've immediately got 4 laps in this datalog, the fastest of which is highlighted in green. And I want to further split it up into sectors, so I'm going to go ahead and move the log here midway down the back straight and hit the Add Lap Split Point button, which creates 2 sectors, one from the start position to the split point, and then from the split point back to the start position. I'm going to add another sector after the chicane, and then I'm going to add a final split point on the curvy bits. So I've now got 4 sectors, and in this view here I can see which of the sectors were fastest from this particular run. Now I can go ahead and highlight any of the individual sectors and see the braking speed at the entrance to a braking zone and the exit of the braking zone, and I can do that and directly compare different splits. So this blue split, which is a second slower, I can clearly see that I've got a much slower entrance to the braking zone, even though it's slightly later, and I've also got a slower exit to the braking zone, and that would probably partly account for that second's difference. Now I can save this lap layout. This is Blyton Park, and now in the tracks view I can see all of the logs from Blyton Park, the individual laps in time order, and the times for the individual sectors. This is most useful when you've got multiple data logs for the same track. So I'm going to open another data log that I know is of the same track and reapply those settings. So here is the same track layout, uninitialized with the laps, and by clicking Open, selecting Blyton Park, it now reapplies those same lap settings. I've got the same 4 sectors, and it's already created the lap times and the split times. And now if I click Tracks, I'll be able to see that I've got 2 logs and a larger number of laps, and I can see that my fastest lap is from session 10 at 1:21, and the second fastest lap is a 1:23. So I'm quite significantly faster by the end of session 10, and I'd like to know what the reason for that is. So I have log 10 open in front of me, and I'm going to open log 9 and compare them directly. I now have both sets of GPS data, 2 vehicle positions, and both sets of lap times. Again, I can highlight individual sectors. I'm going to highlight sector 2 from the fastest lap here, and I'm going to highlight sector 2 from the first lap. So that gives me almost a second's difference between them. Now I can jump to this particular position in the data log, in the first log, and I can also jump to the same sector in the other data log. And now if I zoom in, I can start to look at the reasons why I was a second quicker in the blue log. Well, I can immediately see I've got a far later braking point, 92 miles an hour. and I've got pretty similar actual entrance speeds. So if I synchronize those two positions more accurately, now as I'm heading down this back straight, the faster log, which is the slightly brighter red, is already a couple of miles an hour faster, so I've had a far better exit from the previous corner. But through the chicane, we enter the braking zone. Now we can view the braking zone in detail in the graph. If I add the braking event data, it's the two braking zones overlaid, and I can also add the GPS speed and the RPM. Now we've got quite a lot of data here, but as we approach the chicane through the braking zone, one thing that is apparent is the green trace in this case is braking G-force and the white trace is throttle. As I'm approaching this chicane and downshifting, applying heel and toe to try and match the revs, you can see that there's a decrease in braking power at the same time I'm applying the throttle for the heel and toe. That indicates that as an amateur my heel and toe isn't great. On the brighter log, which is the faster of the two, you can see that there is generally more braking power actually being applied to the vehicle, and there's also less loss of braking power during the first downshift and hardly any during the second downshift. That would indicate a smoother entrance to through the braking zone. As we continue through the braking zone, I've already made up a couple of tenths of a second towards the end of the braking zone. Remember that they were aligned at the start of this sector. So if I zoom in closely on the actual chicane, I can hide the data that's from the other laps, so I've only got the two lines that I care about. As I approach the corner, I'm going to sync the two vehicles up again. So I'm slightly faster in the faster lap through the braking zone at this point, and then entering the corner, what we really care about is the rolling speed through the corner, and they're pretty similar, although as we reach midway through the corner I've got a couple of miles an hour extra rolling speed on the faster log, which is represented by the brighter line. And in the trace here you can see the brighter white line represents throttle, and there's a far earlier throttle application through the exit of the corner. However, we see a slower speed exit in the faster log, and the reason for that is an over-aggressive use of throttle. So we're 39.8 miles an hour, nearly 40 miles an hour in the faster log, and we actually lose speed through the exit, and the slower log is now 2 miles an hour quicker. So this early application of throttle hasn't helped, and you can see by the rise in RPM that then decreases even though we're at full throttle. That's indicative of wheel spin on the exit of this corner, so it's over aggressive on the exit. Now we're onto the straight and the speed has picked up, and I've now 2 miles an hour faster heading through the final straight, through this back straight, and that speed will be maintained all the way through the sector, accounting for the seconds difference. So I hope you see that this can be a useful tool for determining the reasons for performance in particular corners on particular laps, and as a way of trying to recognise your flaws and your errors so that you can improve them. Next time I visit Blyton Park, I'm going to be trying much harder to get smoother heel and toe, and knowing that I can brake quite late into this corner and applying throttle smoothly on the exit. If you've got any questions, please email us at the address at the end of this video. Our development process is continuous, and we like to try and achieve what our customers want to do in the real world. Thank you for watching.